Hello, St. Andrews, and welcome to this week's edition of Chancel Chat. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of January. This will be the first Chancel Chat of 2019. It is the 9th day of Christmas, and as you know, Christmas continues for 12 days. The 12th day, which marks the end of the Christmas season, is actually Saturday, January 5th, but we will be celebrating the Feast of the Epiphany. That great feast when we remember the Magi coming from the east and visiting the Christ child in Bethlehem. So we'll be celebrating the Feast of the Epiphany at all three of the liturgies this weekend. Father Tin, our priest associate, will be preaching and presiding on Saturday evening, January 5th, and I'll be preaching and presiding at both of the services on Sunday morning. Now, Saturday afternoon, the 5th of January, several women of the church have taken on a very exciting evangelism project. They're going to be taking these door hangers, which I think you've probably seen hanging around the church during this Christmas season, to our neighbors surrounding the church, and inviting them to bring their children to church for our Sunday morning childcare program. So I'm not sure exactly what time the women are meeting at the church, but I'm sure if you will call Irene Smythe or Pat McCulloch, they'll give you all the details. But this is a very exciting program, taking the ministry of the church outside the walls of the church into the community, which I think would be very pleasing to Jesus. So if you're interested in participating in this project, please contact either Irene Smythe or Pat McCulloch. Looking ahead to later in the month of January, our first men's breakfast of 2019 will be held on Saturday, the 19th of January at 8 a.m. at the Route 38 Diner in Mount Holly. This is open to all men of the parish, so please plan to join us for a time of fellowship on Saturday morning, the 19th. Then later that day, in the evening at 6:15, our monthly community dinner will be held. The doors will open around 6:15 in the parish hall, and we welcome the members of the community to come and enjoy a meal with us. If you're interested, we need volunteers to set up, serve, and clean up after the meal. If you're interested in volunteering, please contact Dominic Janney. The annual congregational meeting will be held on Sunday morning, the 27th of January. There'll be a single service at 9 o'clock, followed immediately following the service, our annual meeting in the parish hall. So please mark your calendar and plan to be with us. If you're a committee chair, please plan to have your annual report into the parish office and to Chris, our parish administrator, no later than January 14th. Offering envelopes for 2019 are available in the narthex. If you don't find a packet of envelopes with your name on it, please contact Chris and she'll see that you get a packet of offering envelopes. Finally, the nominating committee has been formed. It consists of Chris Miller, our warden, John Smythe, and Chip Miller. And the nominating committee has the assignment of filling 2 warden positions, one for a 2-year term and one for a 1-year term, and 4 vestry positions this year that are open. 3 of those are for 3-year terms and 1 is for a 1-year term. So if you're interested in being considered for any of those positions, please contact any of the 3 members of the nominating committee. Saint of the Week this week, St. Gregory of Nazianzus. There he's a picture of St. Gregory. His feast day is today, January 2nd. Gregory is one of 4 so-called doctors of the ancient Eastern Church, along with St. John Chrysostom, St. Athanasius, and St. Basil the Great. And St. Gregory lived during a very turbulent time in the history of the church, the 4th century. The unity of the church was being threatened by a serious theological dispute, if you can believe that, and there were basically 2 groups and 2 opinions concerning the nature of Jesus Christ. The first group, represented by St. Athanasius, believed that Jesus was fully divine. And the second group, represented by a bishop named Arius, believed that Jesus was, of course, a very important person, but he was not God. He was created, just like all of us. So this dispute, as I mentioned, threatened the unity of the church, and in the year 325, the Emperor Constantine, who had become a Christian and was really concerned about the threat that this dispute had on the unity and peace and harmony in the church, called a special council of bishops that met in Nicaea to resolve the dispute. And the bishops did come to a conclusion that Athanasius and the position that he represented, which was that Jesus was fully divine, was the official teaching of the church and should become the practice, the teaching and practice of all Christian churches. So that was in 325 AD. St. Gregory of Nazianzus was born 5 years later, and throughout his life, even after Nicaea, this dispute continued to rage, and his ministry was one of defending the decisions that were made at Nicaea, defending the deity of Jesus Christ. And he became Bishop of Constantinople and is probably remembered for two very important things. First, as Bishop of Constantinople, he called an ecumenical council which met in Constantinople and basically reaffirmed the decisions that were made at Nicaea. The second thing that he's remembered for is a series of 5 sermons that he preached on the doctrine of the Trinity and the deity of Christ. So he was one of the early theologians and great teachers of the church, and we're indebted to St. Gregory of Nazianzus for his consistent support of what has become the orthodox position of the church, that Jesus was fully divine. So we remember as the saint of the week this week, St. Gregory of Nazianzus. So that's about all I have for today. Wishing you and your family the continued joy of this Christmas season. We've got a few more days of Christmas, and a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2019. And we will talk again next week. So until then, God bless you.